Hello Facebook family and friends, how are you today? Today we are going to talk about why is short-term growth as important to your portfolio as long-term growth. This is Moss from Investor Partner Group. We are property advisors, we are property developers, we are tax and SMSF advisors. We help clients acquire and build sustainable property portfolios without sacrificing their lifestyle. We help them educate along as to how to do suburb selections, how to do property development. So do follow our videos that we are sharing. Okay, coming back to the topic now. So why is short-term growth as important as long-term growth? Now, you would hear people talking about blue chip suburbs and blue chip properties and blue chip investments. What does that really mean, and why is just holding blue chip investments is not really a good thing? Now, let me explain to you some of the characteristics of a blue chip suburb. So a blue chip suburb is a suburb that would offer you long-term growth. So those are some of the characteristics of blue chip suburbs. So they would offer you long-term growth. They would usually be negatively geared, especially if you're buying them in Melbourne and Sydney, because there is a land component that comes together with it. And majority of the times you would have to require or pay some premium to enter into a blue chip suburb. What tends to happen is these blue chip properties are usually negatively geared properties, which means that they would be costing you money to hold in your property portfolios. Majority of the blue chip properties do not offer you short-term growth, but they offer you consistent long-term growth. That are some of the characteristics of blue chip properties. What tends to happen is if you keep acquiring a lot of blue chip properties, your portfolio would be quite healthy and rich from an equity perspective, but you would be very cash flow poor. So what I tend to, the way to understand and explain this is that you would be paper rich but cash poor. So you can show a valuation or an asset liability statement to someone and say to someone, look, I'm so rich, but you'll be struggling to even buy a coffee or think about going on a holiday or some things like that. So it doesn't really help you improve your lifestyle unless and until you are actively selling some of those blue chip and realizing your profit. Now that's where it stops. So why do you want to basically, so there is a good mixture of things that you need to take into consideration. So when you are developing a sustainable property portfolio, you have to, from a foundational perspective, you have to acquire properties that offer you short-term growth and subsequently long-term growth, which basically means that the short-term growth that you're going to get in the first, say, 15 to 24 months would be very crucial in building up a baseline of your portfolio and growing your portfolio from there onwards, because that would be the money that you would require to basically, that money would be required for the deposit for the next property. That is why a balanced portfolio is very, very important. I'm not saying that blue chip properties are not good and you shouldn't have them. Of course they are great, but it's important to understand that a balanced portfolio where you are balancing the yield, the return and the growth is quite the key for you to having a sustainable property portfolio. If this does not make sense, please drop in the comments, let me know, reach out to me. Thank you for listening to me. Have a great day.